just falls right into what you were saying previously, Clarissa.
Yep.
All right, 56-year-old Aziz Yazdan Panawas.
What was that again?
Yazdan Panawas. I got it down there. Dressed as Santa when he fatally shot his estranged wife, their 2 teenage children, and 3 other relatives.
Wow.
A Sunday inside an apartment in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburb of Grapevine. The wife's brother, Ali Ramati, says he'd been financially supporting the family. He says Yazdan Pana. Wait, that's a different spelling.
They ran was together in that last sentence. It's Yazdan Pana.
It's way better now. Yeah. Had been unemployed for more than a decade. Well, that's a long time. But says he never thought Yazdan Pana. Is it that sounds Iranian, is it? I bet it is. Persian. Would become violent. They were at an apartment in Grapevine where his wife and children have been staying. Yazdan Pana's niece, 22-year-old Sarah Fatima Yarel.
Glad you're reading this and not me, man.
It all sounds like Texas to me. Sent a text to a friend just before 11 a.m. saying, this part's awful, saying they had arrived at the apartment and that Yazdan Pana was there too. So we're here. This is the quote, the text. So we're here. We just got here. My uncle is here too, dressed as Santa. Awesome, she said in one text. At 11:15, she texted, now he wants to be all fatherly and win Father of the Year. I'm guessing she didn't think that of him. Grapevine Police, Sergeant Robert Eberling said police believe that after Yazdan Pana shot his six family members, he called 911 because, he knew what the Chicago kid had done at 11:34 and then shot himself. Police arrived about 3 minutes later and found everyone dead. It appeared they had been opening presents around their Christmas tree just before the attack. This one really is a Christmas murder, man. This isn't near Christmas. This is opening presents shot by Santa. A recording of the 911 call released, not yesterday, obviously, but when the article was written, revealed someone saying, help, help, and then I'm shooting people. What, you want help in shooting people? What's Police say those words, muffled by the caller's labored breathing, couldn't be heard by the dispatcher on Christmas Day, but were audible when investigators used a different software system. They believe the call was made by Yazdan Pana. Well, I'm guessing it was. So there's the setup. What do you think of this mess, Clarissa?
Well, the worst part, by the way, is that there was another case exactly like this, but it happened in California. So not that long ago. Yeah. So I decided not to use that. It's the West Covina massacre. Also showed up on Christmas and shot the 8-year-old when she answered the door and everyone inside. So also dressed as Santa Claus. But this case, along with that one, it speaks to an extremely disturbed personality. It's somebody that is extremely narcissistic and at the same time insecure, right? Which often go hand in hand, actually. Different. They were both different nationalities, so I'm not going to read anything into that. It's just the fact that he did not like that the family was going on without him. And this case was so illustrative to me because of the texts that his niece sent, right? So at 11:34 was when 911 was called. So that's when the shooting is in progress, right? And at 11:15, his niece texted, now he wants to be all fatherly and win Father of the Year. So this is what they thought about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what even his extended family thought about him.
Yeah.
So they clearly really look down on his ability to be a provider.
Disdain for the man. Yeah.
Yes. Obvious disdain for him. I am in no way blaming them, and it is not their fault. But he is clearly sensing this, and I'm guessing sort of brought it on himself. But instead of trying to be a good father, he shows up there because he's so angry that they are getting along without him.
And he obviously planned this.
Oh, yeah.
It was probably quite extensive plan.
Right, because he had to. They said that the guns were purchased legally, right? He had the guns. He had to get the Santa suit. He had to plan. He had to know, like, he was not invited to this Christmas party. He had to find out about it. He had to know where it was.
Gotcha.
He knew who was going to be there. He brought a 9mm and a .40 caliber. He absolutely knew what was going to happen. And then he even tried to stage the crime scene by putting the guns into his, at least some of that into his dead brother-in-law's hand to
make him
try to frame him.
Yeah, to make him look like the killer.
Ah,
oh, wow.
Think of the not dark, but the black workings of that mind leading up to that. I'm going to wipe all these people out. I mean, that's his family, including...
Right, it's his legacy. I mean, my gosh, one of his children, Nona, was planning on going to law school. She was, just graduated high school. Like, he had a 14-year-old son. Like, they had all of this to look forward to as a family. And you'd think that people would look at their kids, especially successful kids, and go, maybe I'm not contributing to that success right now. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They're my kids.
They're successful in spite of me.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, instead of just...
So good for them.
Yeah.
Not, I'm going to kill them. How dare you be successful when I am not?
Yeah.
Wow. Man, that is so grim. That is waiting to the opening presents and then gunning them down and then trying to stage it. Man, what a coward. That's a real cowardly act.
Well, and actually, I mean, all family annihilators are the pinnacle of cowardly. They are.
God, it's lower.
It's absolutely the lowest of the low. Like, suicidality is one thing, and I understand it absolutely. But to want to take your entire family with you, I got no words for that.
No, that is that. Yeah, there's just nothing to really describe that because, you're killing your own legacy as well. I mean, you're wiping everything that you could have been off the face of the earth right there with that annihilation. And it boggles my mind that anybody would, their children, especially their children would want to do that.
You're not only saying there's no hope for me and my generation, i.e., husband or wife, or their brothers and sisters, as in this case, but there's not even any hope for the next generation. It is so narcissistic. It is so it's beyond that. It's solipsistic. It's saying I am all that counts in the world.
Yeah.
I am all that is real in the world. That's what that says.
Yeah, it does, and that's a sad state of affairs. And what? If family annihilators on Christmas, that strikes a nerve even more. But like you said, it just seems to be more in August, which is crazy to me as well. All of it's crazy. To be honest,
it is a very dark thing. I don't often see that because we were talking about they often commit suicide or they usually take themselves out as well. So it's very rare for me, even though I talk to murderers and read accounts of interviews with murderers all day, every day. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I don't see them very often. It's extremely rare to have a family annihilator like the John List variety that kill their entire family and then move on. There are some, but it's very, very rare. It's so exceedingly rare that there have only been a handful in 12 years of my doing this. And it is always a scary window that you're looking through because it's so distorted. It's so distorted.
Do you find
as to what anybody would
as
think.
a psychologist? Do you also find it fascinating at the same time when they are alive to maybe tiptoe through their minds?
I would say to be honest, I would say at the beginning of my career, I did. At this point, no, because I would have to say that I know that with a lot of these types, the pathology is there, but it doesn't go deep like you think it's going to. You think you're going to be wading into these deep waters, like they do in the movies.
Yeah.
And it's not. It is Shallow jealousy.
I was going to say,
shallow jealousy.
How many Hannibal Lecter calibers have you actually interviewed? They could go like, yeah, that guy could have been Hannibal Lecter.
2.
Oh, well, that little? Man, that's it? Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
And it's the only time ever in my career that I ever actually got the chills with anybody. And I've talked to many multiple murderers, multiple murder and rapists. I never get the chills. With these two guys, I did.
Wow. What was it about them?
Like I keep telling people, like, psychopathy is quite rare. You know, it is pretty rare. It's only like 1% to 2% of the population, and it's not always evil, like I've talked to you guys about. It's not always terrible, you know.
Yeah.
So when you meet psychopathy and it's terrible, I'm telling you, there's a feeling. There's a feeling in the room. There is an electricity about it that you feel like it just basically, it's like they're the cat that ate the canary, and you only figure out you're the canary when it's too late.
Oh, wow.
That's how it feels.
Man, true predators.
For real.
Predators.
Yes. They don't feel, they don't feel completely human.
Wow.
They don't. Because they're missing something. They're missing empathy. They're missing that connectedness that every other human, including a bunch of criminals, including murderers, have. But they don't. And they're looking at you like you're a weak human.
Wow.
That's how they look at you. And once you figure that out, once you figure out they're playing you, because they like to play you, it's fun, you feel caught. And it's scary.
Man, they're like the human equivalent of the Joker, if the Joker was real. It
is. And in that, like, you know, in some of the scenes from Silence of the Lambs, where you can tell she feels exposed and scared. It feels like that. It does. I'm not going to lie. You know, I'm not impervious. And those 2 times I stopped the session and said, that's it, we're done, because I know there's nothing I can do for them. They were just playing with me. I was a mouse they were playing with.
Wow.
That's it.
Man, that's a scary proposition right there. That's a real scary proposition.
Luckily, both of them, I will not say exactly where, but they're both where they need to be. Let's just put it that way.
Well, that's good to hear. They're not ever going to impact anyone ever again. Let's hope, anyway.
They will not.
All right. Moving along, we got one more tale of debauchery, Christmas time homicide to get to here.
We do, and yet another. We don't wish to imply that anything about these stories are humorous, because they're not. These are real people who were killed. The bizarreness of the killers, I suppose, is a bit of where the humor is, because these are all
characters.
They're characters. That's especially the first 2. But this and then look, editors love writing headlines. Mm-hmm. So this one, slain woman found hidden under Christmas gifts.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. After a 67-year-old Florida woman was found beaten, strangled, and hidden beneath the Christmas presents in her home in 2011, authorities charged a younger woman who had been befriended by the victim. Patty Michelle White, then 40, of South Carolina, was being held at the York County Jail on fugitive charges and was expected to be extradited to Florida to face murder charges. She was, in fact, convicted. I will leave that to Clarissa. The body of Michelle O'Dowd of Jacksonville, Florida, was discovered Friday, and this was, again, back in 2011, by her twin brother, imagine that, Phil Axt, who had gone to check on her at her home in a gated community after O'Dowd failed to show up for work. The door was open, and O'Dowd's house had been ransacked, Axt said. Chairs and tables were turned upside down. Her car and dog were still at home. I knew this wasn't going to be pretty, he said. A foot was sticking out of a big pile of Christmas gifts.
Oh, my God.
Axt said. God. Buried under the gifts was his sister's cold body, her bloody face covered with a towel. He told the Florida Times-Union that he saw an empty vodka bottle nearby, which he thinks was a prop to divert attention from the real killer. What? He thought that the vodka bottle...
Thought it was the Grey Goose that did her in? What?
That was a good one. It's not written well, I'm guessing. I don't think they suspected the vodka bottle. Police said White was an ex-girlfriend of the victim's nephew
Oh.
and was considered a family friend. They said White had returned to Florida to rob O'Dowd after staying with relatives in South Carolina.